மூன்று அமைப்புகளின் சார்பில் ஆண்டுதோறும் நடத்தப்படுகின்ற இந்த அறக்கட்டளை சொற்பொழிவினுடைய இந்த நிகழ்வினுடைய தலைவர் பேராசிரியர் ஆம்ஸ்ட்ராங் அவர்களே, வரவேற்புரை நிகழ்த்தியிருக்கின்ற முன்னாள் IAS அலுவலர் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய செல்லப்பன் அவர்களே, அறிமுக உரை ஆற்றியிருக்கின்ற பேராசிரியர் தேவதாஸ் அவர்களே, நன்றி உரை நிகழ்த்த இருக்கின்ற சட்டத்துறையினுடைய தலைமை பொறுப்பாளர் டாக்டர் ராஜசேகர் அவர்களே, வருகை தந்திருக்கின்ற சான்றோர் பெருமக்களே, கல்வியாளர்களே, இருபால் ஆசிரியர் பெருமக்களே, மாணவ கண்மணிகளே, பெரியோர்களே, தாய்மார்களே, பத்திரிகையாளர்களே, உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். அம்பேத்கர் குறித்த இந்த சொற்பொழிவு ஆண்டுதோறும் நடக்கிறது என்பதை அறிந்து நான் மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். அம்பேத்கரையும் என்னையும் இங்கே ஒப்பிட்டு பேசினார்கள். நிச்சயமாக அது கூடாது என்பதை நான் இந்த நேரத்திலே உங்களுக்கு அன்போடு வேண்டிக் கொள்கிறேன். அம்பேத்கருடைய ஆளுமை ஒருவரை பாதித்திருக்கலாமே தவிர அம்பேத்கருடைய ஆளுமையை இன்னொருவர் பெரிது என்பது எப்போதும் இருக்க வாய்ப்பில்லை என்பதை நான் அறிவித்து கூற முடியும். The topic which was given to me, Dr. Ambedkar's contribution to social, political and constitutional thoughts in Indian polity, is a very wide subject. Of course, this topic has to be divided into 3 or 4 parts, and each and every part will get its own significance if a separate and identical lectures are being delivered. But in the late evening, I was given such a hard and crucial task to comprise everything in one capsule. I do not think that I am able to or I am competent to deliver up to your satisfaction. Still, I have to try here. Dr. Ambedkar said, I quote, "An educated man without humility and character is more dangerous than a beast if his education is detrimental to the society and the country." Unquote. I am very happy that this university, professors and students are really the noble educated persons as Ambedkar visualized in his thoughts. For that alone, I have to express my thanks to the Department of Legal Studies and the Educational Trust, Ambedkar Academy, and professors and students of this university. No doubt everybody knows Dr. Ambedkar is the architect of the Constitution. Even the people are not aware of the constitutional provisions. In some of the quarter, Ambedkar is identified as an icon for the Dalit rights. Since the country is divided on caste, each and everybody is having inculcated with the caste feeling in their mind, wanted to give a label for Ambedkar in order to minimize his size of knowledge and wide prowess in the academic career. However, Ambedkar is having many dimensions. In one part of time, he wrote Karl Marx and Buddha. People are saying that left quarter, that the comparison itself is wrong. Ambedkar vehemently said, "Look, I am the first person returned with foreign abroad doctorate degree in economics. Don't teach me." Then he set out the reasons how Karl Marx and Buddha address the various issues in the society, including economics. Then everybody stopped to criticize Dr. Ambedkar. So in that sense, he is an economist. No doubt he is a constitutional architect. No doubt he is a big financial, diligent brain. When Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister of India in the Rajya Sabha, he openly admitted, where I got the liberalization and globalization thought little bit, I got all ideas from the Ambedkar book, namely problem of rupee. So economic knowledge, social knowledge, political knowledge, constitutional knowledge. So all this domain, a person is having very vast knowledge cannot be matched with anybody in the world. Now, I think that legal fraternity is also present here, those who are studying in law and those who wanted to know the constitutional validity and constitutional provisions of the so-called politics and mixtures in the constitutional background. I must say a few words about how the constitution came into existence. Each and everybody, before reading the constitution which was made by Dr. Ambedkar, my humble appeal to all of you, you should go through the studies of Constitutional Assembly debates where Ambedkar stood as a rock when the very important and sensible provisions are introduced and passed in the Constitutional Assembly. Most of the people were not aware. Even prior to the constitutional making, our national flag were designed. What happened? How many people are new? The contribution by the Ambedkar starts from there itself. Gandhi insisted Nehru and Ambedkar, the Congress flag will be the national flag. That the Ratai, Tindil, must be there in the center of the tricolor flag. Ambedkar did resisted it. The reason is, he discussed with Nehru, everything is in the book. The reason is, the Ratai or Tindil is not a permanent one in the course of Industrial Revolution. He did foresee, today I can go in the bullock cart, tomorrow bullock cart may disappear. Because the society is changing, the industrialization is being taken place. So if you are putting the Tindil, Ratai in the middle of the flag, the international community will laugh at us. Then Nehru asked what will be the solution. Then he discussed in person with Nehru. This country was divided by caste and greed in the name of religion, in the name of Vedas, in the name of Upanishads, in the name of so many so-called literatures, which were vanished at one point of time under the Buddha regime, which was known as King Asoka. King Asoka abolished all this nonsense and established egalitarian society. He invented a chakra which donates. The chakra always, the wheel is always rotating, so that the entire prapancham, the entire universe, the entire society is always changing. So when you are giving a national flag, it must denote no static, it should be dynamic. So put Asoka chakra inside. Ultimately Nehru accepted. When the flag was introduced in the Constitution Assembly, I must quote a few words. Dr. Radhakrishnan, with the ulterior motive I am telling Radhakrishnan. If I am telling Nehru, people will say, oh Nehru. If I am saying Ambedkar, no, Ambedkar, no. I am telling Dr. Radhakrishnan what he said. When the flag was introduced in the Constitution Assembly, so many people did their lecture. Dr. Radhakrishnan says, I should 18 July 1947, for approval the Asoka Chakra was placed in the middle of the flag as Nehru's choice. On the recommendation of Ambedkar, he said on that occasion, I quote, I should like you to think that the Asokan period in Indian history was essentially an international period. It was not narrowly just a national period, it was a period when India's ambassadors went abroad for faraway countries, not in the way of an empire and imperialism, but ambassadors of peace, culture and goodwill. He did not fail to mention, it is a folly for any nation or race to think that it can only give to and not to receive from the rest of the world. Once a nation or a race begins think like that, it becomes rigid and becomes ungrowing. It grows backward and decays. In fact, India's history can be traced. India's period of decay are those when it closed and refused to receive. Another second point is very important. Ashoka wheel represents a wheel of law, a wheel of dharma. There are ever so many institutions which were worked into our social fabric, like caste and untouchability. Unless these things are scrapped, we cannot say that we either seek truth or practice virtue. This wheel, very important, not Raja, Dr. Radhakrishnan. This wheel, which is a rotating thing, which is a perpetually revolving thing, indicates to us there is a death in stagnation. Death in stagnation. There is a life in movement. Our so-called dharma is sanadana. Our so-called dharma is sanadana, eternal, not in the sense that it is a fixed deposit, but in the sense that it perpetually changing, rotating as Ashoka wheels rotates. Its interpreted continuity in its sanadana character. So even with regard to our social condition, it is essential for us to move forward. This flag tells us, be alert, be ever on move, go forward, flexible, compassionate, decent democratic society in which Christians, Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists will all find a safer shelter, unquote. So when the national flag of this country was designed, Ambedkar did a big role in consulting Nehru. Ultimately, the Ratai was removed and Ashok Chakra was placed in the flag. Most of the people are no. Gandhi openly said, my will was not activated. There is no Sundil in the flag. I will not salute this flag. It is there on record. Gandhi said, I will not salute this flag. The irony is that he did not salute the flag, but on his dead body, the flag was placed. So making the constitution right from 1946, the national flag itself, Ambedkar's role was very big. Thereafter he introduced the constitution. When the constitution preamble was enacted, he wrote in such a way, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, secular, socialistic, democratic republic as it is now. But the socialistic and secular, both words are not there when Ambedkar enacted the preamble. He was very clear. As one of our speakers put it, some people wanted to say that constitution must start in the name of God. Then who will be the God? That will be a problem. Some people suggested in the name of Almighty, whether it is Allah or whatever be. But Ambedkar said no. The sovereign power of the country must be derived from the people. So people are our masters. So he put, we the people of India having solemnly resolved so and so. Then, that time you know all better that the partition was affected. Pakistan declared as a theoretic state. That was mother sarbulla nadu. This is Islamic nadu. They declared Islamic country. But whereas in India, Muslims are there, Christians are there, Hindus are there, Sikhs are there, other minorities like Buddhists, Jains are there. How many languages? More than 6,000 languages. How many castes? More than thousands. What type of food are available across the country? What is available in Tamil Nadu? You cannot get it in Kashmir. What is available in Manipur? You cannot get it in Madhya Pradesh. What about your dress? Your veti and shattai cannot be available in other states. Rajasthani Gurda cannot be here. So, food habits, clothes, civilization, culture, everything is different. That is why Nehru and Ambedkar clearly called it is not a nation, it is not a single country, it is a subcontinent of culture of all. So how the country can be united? How the country is united? Ambedkar was very clear in the Constitutional Assembly. A country can be united if you are admitting and recognizing the differences of the people on their own inheritance. You cannot say one language. No doubt Ambedkar wants a powerful center, a strong center he needs. I belong to Dravidian party which is not acceptable to us. Why I am being called I do not know, but there is a similarities and identical aspect of Periyar and Ambedkar. The reason is Ambedkar is the first person who said and who wrote that if at all any race, any community are eligible to claim this country is their own, they are Dravidians. The entire country was Dravidian country, Nagas. When the Aryan invasion came in the north, slowly the Dravidians are pushed to south, and south is remaining as a Dravidian. The real owner of this country is really Dravidian stocks, Dravidian. The real language is Tamil. This is not said by Periyar or Anna or Kalaignar Karunanidhi or M.K. Stalin, our Honorable Chief Minister. This was written in his book. In such a manner, Dravidian ideology was accepted by Dr. Ambedkar, so that I came from the school of thoughts of Dravidian ideology, and I am saying that Ambedkar needs a strong center, which is not acceptable to us. That does not mean Ambedkar wanted to have a monarchy in the government. Please go through the thoughts on linguistic states. Few days back when I was reading again Ambedkar, I got what we call some flash of thoughts in my mind. The delimitation should be opposed not on the basis of the population alone. Please take note of this. All your people are learned here. The delimitation is being opposed by all, including DMK and every person, on the basis of the population. Simply because population was controlled by us, don't penalize. That is our defense. The real defense is lying with Dr. Ambedkar. Ambedkar says this country is having multi-linguistic, multicultural. When you are having multicultural, multilinguistic, the representation should not be on the head count. How many people are Tamilians? So we are having 40 MPs including Pondicherry. If Maharashtra is having more than, they will go 80. No. This country is having bilingual, bicultural, various identities, the caste and creed. So each and every cultural, linguistic identity must have its own representation in the parliament. So it is not how many people you are having, how many head counts are you having, how many cultures, how many languages are you having, all this must be reflected in the parliament proportionately, not on the basis of the population. So thoughts on linguistic states, when Ambedkar argued for strong center, thoughts on linguistic states came into existence. He only categorically observed, unless and until the languages are accepted as an integral part, to have an assimilation among the people, the sense of ownership of the people, this country will be fragmented. In 1953, ultimately, Molivari Manilangal Amadukku Vandana. So this country is divided on the linguistic basis because of the Ambedkar thoughts. So constructing India, right from national flag up to the states, each and every walk, each and every canon, Ambedkar contribution is there. All right, now I come to latest question. The constitution was enacted in the year 1950s. Now we are passing 70 years over the constitution. In 1972, a big question was asked before the Supreme Court. You may be aware, Kesavananda Bharati case. All right, constitution is good. The fundamental question argued before the Supreme Court, larger bench of 13 judges. The argument took place continuously 70 days. The big legal brain of India at that time, Palkiwala, argued the case on behalf of the government. What is the question? All right, constitution can be amended, can be changed. Whether the basic structure of the constitution can be amended or not, that is the question. Then condition prerequisites came into argument. All right, basic structure we know. What are all the features of basic constitution, basic structure? Then they set out what are all the basic structure of the constitution. அரசியல் சட்டத்தின் அடிப்படை பண்புகள் என்ன? First, democracy. Second, secularism. Third, equality. Fourth, federalism. Fifth, rule of law. Sixth, independent judiciary. These 3 points the constitution embodied, which cannot be altered at any point of time by the parliament. No doubt parliament is having power under the constitution, amend the law. including the constitution. You know better, constitutional amendments are being coming often. That too in Modi government, constitutional amendments are very cheap. They can do anything because of the brutal majority. That is not democracy. Ambedkar said, what is meant by democracy? Democracy is not merely a form of government alone. It is essentially an attitude of respect and reverence towards a fellow man. The last man should be revered. That too, when the subcommittee for minorities was constituted under the constitution framing, when the constitutional debate took place in the Constitutional Assembly, there was a subcommittee for the minorities that was headed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the president of the minority subcommittee. Who are all the members? Pandit Nehru himself member, Rajendra Prasad himself member, Dr. Ambedkar himself member, then K.M. Munshi is member. 4 members, including the Prime Minister of India later, including the President of India later, including the Law Minister of India later, were the members, where Sardar Patel was the chairman of the subcommittee. He moved a resolution. That resolution says what type of rights should be given to the minorities. All these things were contemplated. Then very important thing I said, national plan. Then coming to the aims and object clause. Before the constitution, a resolution was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. That is very important. I think that 13/12/1946, if my memory is correct. Aims and object of the constitution was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He moved. Then one Jayagar, you know, the national, very, very big constitutional aspect. He opposed the resolution, giving the amendment on the basis of, on the reason of, the Muslim League is not ready to take part in the Constitutional Assembly. Partition was not affected, 1946. So, when the Muslim League boycotted the constitutional provisions in the Constitutional Assembly, question arose before the Assembly, in the absence of Muslim League, in the absence of the representations from the Muslim League, whether the resolution can be passed or not. Everybody opposed. There was a chaos. Then Rajendra Prasad, the chairman, president of the Assembly, called Dr. Ambedkar suddenly. Ambedkar, please guide us. The opening sentence of the Ambedkar itself on the resolution, because he was shocked. He was not supposed to speak on that day. He said immediately, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I quote, Mr. Chairman, I am indeed very grateful to you for having called me to speak on the resolution. I must, however, confess that your invitation has come to me as a surprise. I thought that there was some 20 or 22 people ahead of me. My turn will come tomorrow or day after tomorrow. If it did come at all, would come tomorrow. I would have preferred that as today I have come without any preparation whatsoever. என்னென்ன 4 நாள் கழிச்சு கூப்பிடுங்க நினைச்சேன், நான் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன்லாம் வந்துட்டேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவர் பேசியிருக்கார் பாருங்க. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பேசியிருக்கார். The lecture which was delivered on the day, சொல்லிட்டு இடையில சொல்றார், I know today we are divided politically, socially and economically. நாம் அரசியல் ரீதியாகவும் பொருளாதார ரீதியாகவும் சமூக ரீதியாகவும் பிரிந்து கிடக்கிறோம். We are a group of varying camps and I may go even to extent of confessing that I am probably one of the leaders of such camp. நமக்குள்ள பல குழுக்கள் சண்டை போட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அப்படி சண்டை போடுகிற குழுவுக்கு நானும் ஒரு குழுவுக்கு தலைவராக தான் இருக்கேன். ஏன்னா அவர் ஷெட்யூல் காஸ்ட் ரைட் கேட்குறாருல்ல, ஆர்எஸ்எஸ் இருக்குல்ல, இந்துக்கள் இருக்காங்கல்ல, முஸ்லீம் இருக்குல்ல, நமக்குள்ள சண்டை நிறையா இருக்குது. நோ டவுட் வி ஆர் ஹேவிங் அவர் ஓன் கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட்ஸ். அப்படி போராடுற குழுவுக்கு நானும் தலைமையாக இருக்கேன். பட் சார், with all this I am quite convinced that given time and circumstances, nothing in the world prevent this country from becoming one and oneness. இதெல்லாத்துக்கும் பிறகு என்றாவது ஒரு நாள் இந்த தேசம் நாம் எல்லோரும் ஒன்றாக இந்தியர்களாக வருவோம் என்ற நம்பிக்கை இருக்கிறது. நீங்கள் கைத்தட்டுற மாதிரி அங்கேயும் கைத்தட்டிருக்காங்க, அங்கேயும் கைத்தட்டிருக்காங்க. சொல்லிட்டு அப்போ சொல்றார், our difficulty is not about the ultimate future. Our difficulty is how to make the heterogeneous mass that we have today take a decision in common and march on the way which leads to us unity. Our difficulty is not with regard to the ultimate. Our difficulty is with regard to the beginning. இப்போ எப்படி தொடங்குறதா நமக்கு தெரியல. இவ்வளோ ஜாதி இருக்குது, இவ்வளோ மதம் இருக்குது, அரசியல் சட்டத்தை எப்படி எழுதுறது, இதெல்லாம் எப்படி அட்ரஸ் பண்ணுறது, ஏகப்பட்ட பிரச்சனை இருக்குது, மைனாரிட்டிஸ் இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அவர் சொல்கிறார், ஸோ our difficulty is not with regard to the ultimate, our difficulty is with regard to the beginning. Mr. Chairman, therefore, I should have thought that in order to make us willing friends, in order to induce every party, every section of this country to take on road, it would be an act of greatest statesmanship for the majority, even to make a concession to the prejudices of the people who are not prepared to march together. இந்த சுதந்திரத்துக்கு நம்மலாம் நடந்து போகிறோமே, இந்துக்களாக இருந்தாலும் மெஜாரிட்டி பீப்புளாக இருந்தாலும், இந்த மார்ச்சுக்கு வர முடியாத மார்ஜினைஸ் இருக்காங்கல்ல, யார் அவர் சொல்கிறது இஸ்லாமியர்கள், தாழ்த்தப்பட்ட மக்கள், சுதந்திரம் போடுறதுக்குன்னா என்னன்னே தெரியாத ஒரு மக்கள் இருக்காங்கல்ல, அவங்கள நீங்கள் ரெகக்னைஸ் பண்ணலன்னா இந்த சுதந்திரம் நிற்காது. அப்போ சொல்லியிருக்காரு. ஸோ when the minority resolution was placed before the Constituent Assembly, Ambedkar did a big role. When the national flag was placed before the Constituent Assembly, he took a very big role. Now I am coming for secularism. As I earlier said, that secularism is not in the Constitution, in the preamble. K.T. Shah, one of the members in the Constituent Assembly, he raised a question that the words secular and socialist must be included in the preamble of the Constitution. Ambedkar vehemently denied. The reason is, he said, as far as socialism is concerned, we cannot dictate a country to be a socialist country. What type of man he is? He said, the Indian economy cannot stand alone in one point of time. The economy may be universal. The global economy may change, under which India may be a part, for which I cannot dictate this country is a socialist country. It is true. Now we are in the globalization, liberalization. Why Modi is privating everything? We are not able to stand with socialist country. He did foresee it may not be compulsion on the country to be a pure socialist country. Then he coming to secular. He said secular more than 7 places. I mentioned the Constitution is secular. Go for any profession, 25, Article 14, Article 15, a person should not be discriminated on the basis of the caste, on the basis of religion, on the basis of sex. What does it mean, religious? A person is entitled to have their own practice under religious faith, then it is really secular. So I did everything for secular. If you are putting a secular word, people may think why these people are so cautious, and I do foresee that such a bad elements will not come to politics to say this country is not secular. I should not be held responsible for anything. Ambedkar said bad elements. So what I am telling is each and everything, whether it is national flag, whether it is minorities' right, whether it is rights of scheduled caste, it is for reservation or future India, whatever be, the thoughts which has been rendered by Ambedkar still save this country in spite of the country has been placed with bad hands. We are fighting still before the people. No doubt, Vice President of India, a constitutional head, number 2 place in the Constitution, he said in the Speaker's Conference that the basic structure of the Constitution should be amended as against the Kesavananda Bharati case. A larger bench, 13 judges, were categorical in 1972 itself. Parliament is entitled to amend the law on any time, any constitutional provisions, except basic structure of the Constitution. Now, Vice President of India, who took oath on the Constitution, vehemently said at official meeting that the basics of the Constitution should be amended. What does it mean? It should be not secular. So, such a dangerous days we are meeting. I do not know what type of courageous Madras University is having to hold this lecture. Because Ambedkar's contribution, we are saying that it will be against the government. In spite of that, we have to speak about the truth. So, Ambedkar did see, yes, there were the fragmentations on the basis of the caste, on the basis of the religion. In spite of that, he needs a strong India in which all resolution can be possible within the legal framework of the Constitution. Still, people are having faith upon the Constitution. Everybody fighting is against the state government, against the central government, even against all institutions. But still they are having faith under the Constitution. That is why still we are, to some extent we are little bit peace. However, I am little bit worried about the independent judiciary, which was the basic structure of the Constitution. As a lawyer, not I am speaking any politics, I said in the parliament itself, the Ayodhya verdict, which was given by the larger bench, the first time in India as a student of law, I said, a judgment was delivered in a crucial issues where the author of the judgment is not at all there. Suppose 5 people are sitting in the bench, there must be a name who wrote the judgment and remaining 4 should concur. If a judgment is unanimous out of the 5 benches, 5 judges, there must be author. This judgment was written by me, A. Raja. Then remaining 4 judges has to concur. That is a very big shock. No judge signed who written the judgment, but judgment came out. After 3 years, one of the judges said, God directed me to write the judgment. The problem is, fight itself is between Allah and Ram. Both are God. Which God gave a direction to you? If Ram gave a direction to, what about the Allah? This is the independent judiciary. I am not attributing any motive to the judiciary. But what is real judiciary today? Whether Ambedkar did see all these things? So independent judiciary, rule of law, secularism, federalism. See what was done by our Honorable Chief Minister M.K. Stalin? The governor's power. First time, I think that the only Chief Minister in India who fought against the constitutional head of the state and got the victory in our name. Justice Patanjali was very famous in 1960s in the Supreme Court. He openly said, we are having every power discretionary power under Article 142. If the law is not made by Parliament, we can make law also. Not mere interpreter of the Constitution. We can make law. What we are delivering judgment, it will become the law of this land. We are having such a discretionary power. That does not mean judges are having discretionary power. It does not mean that we are having power of a caveman. Discretion should not be caveman discretion. It should be a reasonable and plausible discretion. Today, the journey of the apex court and other high courts are really worrisome. Whether the constitutional provisions are being protected or obliterated, that is the question before the people. Day by day, little bit, the faith upon the judiciary is being dwindled down or diluted. So when we are celebrating Ambedkar and his constitutional framework and his contribution to the Constitution, we must keep in our mind that the basic structure of the Constitution, namely democracy, secularism, equality of law, federalism, independent judiciary, all these 6 points should be protected at any cost. To that point, towards that point, let us march towards Jai Bhim. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your powerful and thought-provoking words. Your insights have truly added immense value to this evening occasion. To bring this meaningful event to a close, now I have the honor of inviting Dr. G. Rajasekhar, Assistant Professor, Head in Charge of the Department of Legal Studies, University of Madras, to propose the vote of thanks.